Hey guys, it's Diamond and I'm back with another off the cuff video, and today I'm talking about how if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So often we can get into contracts or agreements, relationships or responsibilities that were never really a yes and we're not really a no. It was something we felt in the middle, and then we're just like, why not? But I'm going to talk about why actually it's a problem, and I'm going to tell you why not, when if it's not truly a full and complete and absolute yes, that you probably should say no. So this phrase, actually, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no, I got from one of my exes. He used to say it all the time at the beginning of our relationship. And during this time, I still was very much the kind of person that would be like, well, I guess, or like, maybe. And he would always say, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I started to embody that and really take on that lesson. And I also at this time was learning that I was a generator and I had sacral authority, I believe, and that I started doing this thing. So if you are hold on, I should double check to make sure that I am sacral before I start talking about this, because I do want to say this. Hold on. Okay, yes, I just checked. I have sacral authority, and I'm pretty sure this is because of my sacral authority, or it's because I'm a generator. I don't remember which, but try it anyway regardless, just to see if it works for you. But I started doing this test where this is how I started building my intuition, and I'm going to do a whole series probably on intuition, because intuition and knowing when to take inspired action will make things so much easier when it comes to your business and your creative projects and just life in general, when you can tap into your intuition and you don't have to rely on your logical brain, overthinking, and all these other things getting in the way of what your soul, your heart is really telling you to do. So anyways, so what you want to do, breathe, close your eyes, put your hand over your heart, and just ask yourself really quickly. Start with something light and simple, because you don't want to ask yourself on something big. It's going to stress you out. Ask yourself for something simple. Do I want mac and cheese for dinner? And then you'll either hear a sound. And so sometimes I would be like, or uh-huh. And I'll shake my head or nod my head. And so I'm asking myself, would you like pizza for dinner? Dang, I thought I wanted pizza for dinner. But you can start asking yourself that. Start doing that literally every day, all the time, for simple things, and see how it feels in your body. And you'll start to get better at knowing what's your intuition and what's fear. And once you start doing that more often, you can start doing it for bigger things, and you'll start trusting it, because you know when it really is a yes or it's a no. And so that was around the time that I also started doing that, was when I learned if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So often also in our world, in our society, there was like this push of just like, why not? Like, sure, might as well. And not enough of really like, yes or no. Is this really aligned? Does this really excite you or not? And as a generator, I know if something also is for me, if I'm excited about it. If I'm kind of like, or if I'm like, dreading it, or if I'm drained, then it's probably a no. And I don't know for the other human design types what it looks like, but I would say at a minimum though, if something is kind of like a no, and it's not just fear. I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm scared, or oh, I'm nervous, but I'm talking about that sense of just like, I guess. It's like, it's almost like a neutral feeling. It's not even a, no, it's more of like a, I could or I could not. It's like you could do it or you could not. And you want to always choose things that are an absolute yes, because otherwise you will find yourself often settling in life. If you're not consciously always choosing things that are a yes, an absolute full body yes, you're going to find yourself settling in so many areas of your life and wonder why here you are sitting in the middle of this life with all these things that you kind of like, that are okay, that are meh, instead of everything that you truly desire on a deep level and that fully excites you and just get you so riled up and make you feel passionate and inspired and happy to live the life that you live. We've all settled before. We've all have done things that weren't really a full body yes. But don't you hate when you gotta finally show up for those things that you said yes to, when you really knew it was a no, or it just never really excited you from jump? And now you're like, okay, great. Well, here I am. Now I've gotta now I'm committed to this for 6 weeks or whatever it is. Oh my gosh, I remember I made this 7 a.m. commitment for about like 6 weeks. Once a week. It was a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. I mean, it was cool. I was getting paid for it. It was a little bit of extra pocket change at that time, but I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I committed to this. I was so glad I didn't commit to 2 days a week. I knew because it wasn't an absolute full body yes, I didn't commit to doing it 2 days a week, but for money reasons, I said yes to 1 day a week, and I'm just like, no, never again. Never again. And like I was saying, when you start testing out what's a yes, a full body yes for you and a no, you will be able to more confidently give that answer as well, because you know it's coming from a place of like, trust me, you don't even want me to be involved with this. Like, you're like, I really don't even want to say yes, because I know that my full heart or body would not be in this. And, you know, you wouldn't be giving it your best effort if you said yes to this thing when it's just not aligned. I also think that boundaries play a role in this, because you have to have the boundaries to be able to say no, because it can be really hard to tell people no. But when it's not a yes, it's a no. And also, as somebody that was a people pleaser, I definitely said yes a lot of times. And I think that's one of the reasons in ways that I got conditioned to lukewarm yeses, was because I was a people pleaser. When you're a people pleaser, you get so good at saying yes to things that don't align with you. Ooh. But now I have no problem telling people no. I really don't care. And I love that for me. I love that for me. And I remember my ex, he never had that issue of people pleasing, really. He always kind of was just a person that was very sure of himself and of who he was, and his yeses were his yeses and his nos were his nos. I really admired that in him, and that was something that I really wanted to get better at myself, because it just takes so much pressure off to just tell somebody no, or, you know, I'm not coming, or just not make a commitment that doesn't fully align with who you are, because then that takes away from your energy for things that you really would want to show up for, or where you could be resting, or where you could be working on that side project that you started. But instead you're giving your energy, which is even more energy than it would have took you to work on that, because you got to give the energy just to get it done. And then also you know that little extra pickup you got to have too, because it's something you don't want to do. So you're fighting the resistance in your body, and then you also just have to have the energy to do whatever that thing is. And when you are able to have more of those hell yeses, you will have the most amazing things pop up into your life, because when you keep saying yes to things that aren't really aligned, the universe says, oh, okay, so I guess you really don't want this other thing. So let me keep sending you things more like the thing that you just agreed to that you really didn't want, because they don't know. It's like, well, okay, clearly you don't really want what you say you want. You cool with settling for this. And it's not even about settling to the universe. Like, the universe doesn't care what you want. There's no judgment there, but it's just like, okay, I guess they really want this. Like, they're cool with that. And you have to stand in those yeses and those nos. And I know some of the ways that this has come up for me is like brand deals where the money just was not where it needed to be. But I'm like, I kind of like this brand, or like, I kind of need some more money this month. Like, something's coming up, but I feel icky, and having to stand in those yeses. And then sure enough, a few days later, a week later, another brand deal comes in and it's actually aligned. And it's exactly what I said that I wanted or I was looking for. And this actually happened recently. So right now I'm doing a series with Visit Detroit. I often work with them. They are the tourism board here in Detroit, and I'm doing an astrology series. So go to my Instagram if you're interested in checking that out. But I'm doing an astrology series for literally every sign. So that's a guaranteed 12-month contract, basically, where I'm going to be doing every single zodiac sign. And as soon as I saw them post that opportunity, I said, hell yes. I said, this is absolutely for me. This is perfect for me. I felt so excited. I was so ready. And I just knew that it was an aligned opportunity for me. And it's been so fun to work on that project. And I'm so glad that I didn't take on anything extra right before that came along that would have stretched my capacity or, you know, cut into my energy to be able to give to that project. And I've just been able to really make it into something that's my own. And we're really just getting started. We started with Aquarius, and I am filming Aries this week, wrapping that up. So I'm really excited to see how that series continues to evolve, because it's just something that's so aligned for me. And when you make space by saying yes to the things that really work for you, more of those things will come to you. And so that's why it's so dangerous when you say yes to things that you really don't like, because you're telling the universe that you don't really care. Like, that you're okay with settling. And so it's like, okay, well, that's what she said yes to, so that must be where she's at, and it's not where you want to be. So yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to say on that. Make your yeses and your no's your no's. Work on your boundaries and your people pleasing if you're finding it hard to be able to say yes or no, and try out that little exercise. I know I looked crazy doing that for literally, I think I've been doing it for like 2+ years now, and sometimes I still do it to this day. I don't have to do the hand on heart, but sometimes people will see me doing a little because I just want to check in. It's just a fun way to get more in tune with your body and seeing what's really a yes and a no for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.